certified banger. This was a certified banger.
Check, what is going on, guys? How are we feeling today? Oh yeah, let's go. I had to replay. Let's go. What is everyone up to today? How we feeling? I cannot wait to hear these records. I'm sure we got some bangers here today. Let's get it. Banger.
This was a certified banger.
Let's go. Now, looking forward to hearing all the tracks submitted today. We have quite the array of tracks. Wow. Wow. Honestly, it's been crazy, guys. Really appreciate all of the submissions from everyone. I'm working on an album right now, for real. That's what I'm talking about. Anyone else got some stuff going on as far as projects go? What kind of projects we working on these days, guys? How many, what's it called? Any bangers we got cooking up in the stew? Wow, 11 people. What? Wow, we got quite the what's it called? Quite the crowd today. Super excited. Let's get it. Alrighty. So first thing is first. We are going to start off Boo. Hold on. Dang, Spotify is doing me dirty right now. Got an unreleased banger I'll submit next week. Super exciting. Wow. Hey, let's go. Well, for the last few couple ones, hold on. I'm going to have to restart this. I didn't realize that Spotify was going to yell at me for the amount of submissions as far as the tabs go. I didn't realize that there was a tab limit for Spotify until today. So fun fact, guys, don't open a whole bunch of Spotify tabs. Okay, cool. So we'll go ahead and get started. Let's get started with our Discord subscriber, UltraBlu. I know what's it called, because you are the first Discord subscriber, UltraBlu. I'm gonna let you have free passes to skip the line for the whole month. So appreciate you. And for everyone who doesn't know, a Discord subscriber, it's part of our Discord server, obviously from the name, but it's $2.99 a month, and you get to skip the line once a month, and we play the whole entire track and review everything very in depth. So for every submission that you do throughout the month. So we're going to get started. Let me switch to my other screen, and then let's get going. So, first things first, we have Calabasas. Also, by the way, I do want to take a brief moment to apologize for last week. There was, the first 30 minutes or so, there was some doubling as far as the audio goes. It is because my studio monitors were at a low volume. So my mic was picking up on both the, the desktop audio from just the nature of just OBS capturing the screen, and the speaker monitor stands. Well, the speaker monitors that I had going on, it was picking up from those as well. So there was doubling. I could only hear one thing. So all the advice that I gave last week during those doublings, I could only hear it all at once. So all of it still stands. So I figured I'd just address that. So apologies. I made sure that my volume is down all the way on the speakers this week. I'm a noob streamer. Apologies. But we'll get started today with UltraBlu Calabasas. Let's get it. Let me know if you guys can hear this.
Don't make me wait, I'm impatient. I think too much, you can't take it. You the only one worth saving, the only thing I'm craving. I don't do ultimatums, I think you stuck on me, face it. You ain't the one I'm blame, but you got your heart in state.
Hey.
You indulge in a lot of habits. I think you look better in Calabasas. I draw the whole way, but I probably crash. Just have you riding like a pro, baby, get the practice. With you I could live so long. Let the clock spin, you can do no wrong. 1,000 fucking years, think I found where I belong. Opened up the curtains, think I found a new dawn. Did my best to bury you, I guess my best was terrible. Through the hell off care, you remember when I was scared of you. Every time that you stare at me, baby, you take the air from me. In your eyes, see sincerity, cause we're doing it carefully. You're acting like 5-0, asking me questions, yo.
This track is sick, hell yeah.
I'm destined to best them. Work through the stress of my hand on my weapon. I'm only invested in drugs, is my best friend. The time in this raffle, we left on a high note. She left me baffled, so I'm changing up time zones. It's supernatural, she make the sky glow. I'm still in the battle, but I'm walking a tightrope. I could help you indulge in a lot of habits. I think you look better in Calabasas. I drive the whole way, but I probably crash. Just have you riding like a pro, baby, get the practice. With you I could live so long. Let the clock spin, you can do no wrong. 1,000 fucking years, think I found where I belong. Open up the curtains, think I found a new dawn. Laid up in bed, think about the impossible. Played by a threat, I can't take on with an arsenal. I'm seeing in red, hung up on all these obstacles. What's in her head? It's a safe bet, it's remarkable. Coming up to a T, but I'm trying to go both ways. She can't ever sleep, I wonder how did you cocaine. She won't ever leave, cause that ain't her shit, she's snorting. Leave a line on her keys before I leave in the morning. She triggers endorphins, she listens to your sense. You're stuck in orbit, till the goddamn door shuts. The answers are past you, questioning values that you can't go back to. She would just pass through.
Let's go! There we go. Thank you, UltraBlu. Calabasas, let's get it.
This was a
Super
certified
sick
banger.
track. Thank you for submitting. Wow, honestly, I absolutely love like everything really that you had going on as far as like the production and like the vocals that you had. Like your vocals fit the track like so well. So really good job in that regard. What's it called? The chat says gives me a little Juice vibe. Not gonna lie, I could definitely hear that for sure. As far as like initial thoughts, I absolutely loved, like obviously as I stated, the beat production was really solid. The drum sequencing was solid as well. It kept me interesting. It was structured really nicely. The vocals also were nice and upfront. They had some nice processing. The low vocals, it was very familiar. You did a similar type effect on the previous record that you submitted, so it was really cool to hear the what's it called, the same kind of effect, and it seems like it's almost like your signature, which is really cool. As far as like the track goes itself, I absolutely love the sample. Hold on. For some reason it's playing. I wanted to play your record again. Hold on. I don't know why Spotify's tripping out a little bit, but there we go. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, that really cool, almost like very ambient kind of like keys type sound is really sick. And the hi-hat patterns were really awesome as well. The way that you had like the glitching hats and the what's that called, the stutter effect and whatnot. As far as critiques go, what I would say for the record is the vocals overall could be a little bit more upfront. I believe they are a little bit too lax in the mix personally. And the low vocal effect, as much as I love the effect, I would just turn it down like a few dB just to also give some clarity for your lead vocal, so it's not such a drastic effect like that. Because the track vibe, it seems like a very like chill kind of instrumental with the 808s that come in. So you want, when you have like heavy effects like that, like you really want it to be more on the subtle side for a track like this. More so than if you had, like, let's just say the beat was more upbeat and it was just like really knocking in your face, and what's it called, it was like a rage type beat where you can get away with having those really over the top effects that are really in your face like that. Whereas like for this, it was more, I felt like if you were to have a low vocal effect, it would be more on the tucked side. So that's more personal taste though, that you don't have to change that, of course. As far as like the vocal melodies that you had going on in the record, I would say it could be a little bit more melodically interesting, because it happens, you kind of keep the same sort of rhythm throughout the whole track, and you kind of stay on the same kind of 2 or 3 notes throughout the whole song, and I believe that you could really have fun with it. And one way that I always love to come up with different melodies for the vocals is that and it seems ridiculous, but doing the vocal production aspect, sometimes it's really cool if you just play the beat over and over and over again, just loop it, record yourself multiple different takes, just like literally just like humming or like just saying gibberish, and just like don't be afraid to like experiment going really high in your register and just really switching up your vocal tone, the vocal phrasing, vocal flows, and really get into the nitty-gritty, and then write the song based off of your melodies that you have, that you came up with, and literally just cut apart your vocal melodies and kind of paste them together into where it feels like it flows like a verse, chorus, and those sections. So, and that helps me, and I know a lot of like really solid top line writers that's how they do it, and they can write songs like very fast, and it's very high quality records that come out, and that's their technique. And I've seen every single writer that I respect does that technique. So I always recommend that to people, is just, even though it might sound ridiculous, just go ham in the booth, just have fun coming up with melodies, and that will help make your melodic phrasing be more interesting to the listener, so it's not just the same kind of what's it called, notes over and over again. But that's food for thought. Definitely experiment with that. And yeah, the last really bit of what's it called, thing that I could say is that the drums, I would say, the drums overall could use a little bit more oomph and could even be brought up in the mix. Not the 808, just to be clear. The drums itself, the kick drums, the snares, the hi-hats, they just felt like they were a little bit more in the back of the mix, and I wish that they were more brought up forward, especially the percussive elements, the main ones like the claps and the snares. They felt really drowned out. So just bring up all those elements. This is a really solid record, but definitely some food for thought. Thank you for submitting, UltraBlu, and for also supporting Space Hound Records and what we do. Appreciate you. So thank you so much. And then we're going to be moving on to the next one. We got Typical by SmokeTron. Let's get it.
When I was a kid, my parents always told me that if I wanted to be successful or to feel accepted, all I had to do was be myself. And I never really understood what they meant. But throughout elementary school and high school, all of my teachers and mentors said the same thing. Be yourself. We're told this all the time, right? Just be yourself.
I never knew who I was supposed to be, so I'd analyze anybody who got too close to me. Family, celebrity, any stranger on any street. The way they talk, way they move, every nuance, yeah, everything I never understood. But man, did I get good at it. Playing a part, it became an art. If you ever asked me, I wouldn't know what I was doing or who I was, other than running from who I was. Cause all I knew about who I was is no one was fucking with who I was. Yeah, I had to be somebody better, a winner, whatever the weather. Consider if that was the method. PD, stop being so introspective. Second guessing the hell of a record. You better stay focused on being a million people together forever and ever. Because I don't know that you could feel typical to
Nice.
only you could do what the others all do. So you watch what they do and you watch what you do. Then you change what you do. Yeah, you change and you change and you.
We all have this ability to stage our
So that is the 1 minute and 30 mark. Thank you for submitting. Let's go. Yeah, this was interesting. Yeah, no, it was definitely, what's it called? It was definitely fire. Thank you for submitting. Really liked the record. It was very interesting. I did not expect the horns to come in, coming towards what I believe was the hook section. So really cool to hear some of those elements come through. And it just had this really cool, like, groove that was going on with the bass and the drums. And I believe it was a guitar that you had going on. It was kind of hard to tell but it was some sort of string instrument that you had going on that was like really helping with the groove. So really cool. And the vocals, the flow that you had going on was really sick as well, especially the change up that you had. Really interesting sound that you have. So kudos to you on that. It's really hard to be unique. And this was definitely unique. So thank you. As far as critiques go, what I would say is overall, the vocals felt a little bit on the thin side. Like it felt like there was almost like too much, not enough low mid frequencies in your vocals. So just be careful. It could be your processing, it could be your microphone, it could be how far you are from your microphone. So I would just kind of experiment with just seeing what could be potentially causing those issues. But it did sound a little bit on the thin side. And what I would say is overall, I felt like the track just was like missing something. Like it just wasn't, the energy just wasn't quite there. I feel like it could be just the tempo. And sometimes it's just as simple as just bringing the tempo up and just having it a little bit faster, because like it felt like the groove and what you were saying was sick, but I just wasn't feeling it and connecting to it. And I feel like it was because the groove felt a little too slow. So I would say when I'm always doing like productions, I always experiment with the BPM, and I just always like just really lock in and try to find out what is the perfect BPM for this record. So sometimes I'll like shift it by like 3 BPM, like I'll go faster a little bit and just kind of just keep creeping it until I'm just like, this is it. And then like, or if I go too much, it's like you back up a little bit and you're like, okay, no, this is the BPM, this is it. And then what's it called? Produce the record and get everything done as far as like vocally and everything like that, because you don't want to get, especially with all like the stretching and everything with the audio, depending on like what what the sample rate and the bit rate you are using to record the vocals and everything. But that being said, I would definitely experiment with the BPM. I believe the groove felt a little bit slow, and I believe literally all it would be just like making it a little bit faster with the BPM, like maybe by like 5 or like 7, and just experiment with that, seeing if it helps with the energy. But overall, really cool record. Thank you for submitting. Seriously, sick tracks, guys. And then on to the next one, we got Rubixx. Playa. Let's get it. If I know Rubixx, this will be funk. Okay. So that is the 1 minute and 30 mark. Thank you for submitting, Rubixx. Let's go.
This was a certified
Let's
banger.
go. Thank you for submitting, Rubixx. Sick track. Of course, always love to hear the funk vibes. You're always bringing it. I tried with the kicks face sound. Let me know what you think on your next live. I appreciate you. Yeah, no, super sick stuff, man. What's it called? Obviously, I always love the funk 808 cowbell samples. That's really cool. And I always love like how melodic you could really get with them. It's just really fascinating that just something just as simple as like an 808 cowbell you just create like such a cool genre. Like it's just got such like a unique characteristic to it, and I love it. So really kudos. What's it called? I really do love hearing funk on the streams. As far as like critiques go for the record, like that groove was sick when it came through. That was super sick. I wish it came in sooner. Rubixx, it took too long to get to that. I feel personally that it just took too long to get to the point, and I wish it was just a little bit sooner. The kick drums, it still has that clipping element to it a little bit. So just be careful of that. It could just be what your master chain is as well. So it is definitely, like, it felt like it took too long to get to, especially like this break section. Like I feel like personally I would just get rid of it and just have it just go ham. Like have that, what's it called, the DJ scratches before then, and then just like go ham right there and just do some cool like drop thing before. So that's what I would do personally for the record. And the bass is also, the bass is still digitally distorting. Check your master chain and just see, like, take off any limiting that you have on the master chain, because, or whatever, the mix bus processing. Take off all the limiters on your track and just see where your track is peaking at without the limiters. That's what I would say. That's what I would highly recommend for you to do, Rubixx, is just take off any sort of like compressor or limiters that you may have on the track and just see what it's clipping at. But that's really everything I have to say. Like, just watch the clipping, and I would just make that part come in sooner. But that's really it. Thank you so much for submitting, Rubixx. Really cool track. Let's go. Next we have Betrayed by 013.
Made a mess of myself. I'm not missing myself. I'm not missing myself. I'm not missing myself. Who's Who's that calling? Who's that calling? Who's that calling up on your phone? Boy, I really think that she thought you was alone. This is how it is when I'm living out your home. Now this is how it is when I get in my zone. Hope you don't feel betrayed. Got my head underwater and it's late. Know my pain when I'm feeling betrayed. Know that shit ain't always like what you say. I feel down and I'm stuck in my way. So when I'm down and there's something in the way, and I can't control how I behave. I stay doped up, you curse me. Fill my cup, I'm thirsty. Not enough, you hurt me. Gonna kill and burn me up. Why'd you put the blame on me? Girl, it's word against word, and I heard what I heard, so I had to take a break, put my mind at ease. I'ma let the problems fly like the birds and bees, and I know there's something about us that just sounds so sweet. She gon' taste it in her mouth like it's lemon squeeze. I know there's something wrong, but what's wrong with me? So we started kissing out, let the problems be. You miss me now? Was it really worth all the problems? Let it fly. And now I gotta sit with a tear in my eye. I would really die for your smile. I would die for.
There we go. That's the 1 minute and 30 mark. Thank you for submitting.
This was a certified banger.
Yeah, that record was really awesome. Thank you for submitting. That was Betrayed by 013. Really cool track. I loved the production. It was very creative, especially the drum and percussive sounds, and especially for the verse, the kind of really cool synth that you had going on in the background that was like really high pitched and it felt almost like arpeggiated. It was really cool to hear. And your vocal melody, it was really interesting because I peeped that you were, I don't know if maybe you just got sent the track or you were the producer on the track, but I could hear that you took influence on the melodic elements that were happening as far as like the guitars. So, and I always love when artists do that on tracks because like it just, what's it called? That's just a really good sign of a good writer overall. It's just when people can take the melodies from the track and use them in their tracks. Like as far as like, and it just makes the track, because everything becomes a hook at that point, and you really drive home, because if you're not singing the hook, if it's not the hook section yet, there's still like a little bit going on that kind of drives the hook home that's happening in the track as well. So it's really cool that you did that and caught on to that. And I really liked the phaser effect that you had going on in the beginning is really cool as well. And I peeped what you did with the automation right at the end, the left and right panning stuff. I always love when people actually play around with the panning. Overall, the track was pretty, like it was very well produced, very well mixed too. Like the drums were knocking, the effects were solid. Like everything felt like it was pumping correctly as far as the mastering, compression. It was really solid. The only small critique that I really have for the record is I would bring the vocals up a hair, just like a hair, and I would also, there was a part where it felt like the vocal like cuts that you punched in could have been smoothed out a little bit. It was like towards the end of the verse, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I felt like I heard the punching in. And there are ways to really, it's really hard to kind of make it sound smooth, but it's a lot of like adjusting pocket shifting, and it's also a lot where I always recommend where artists, when you're going to punch in the next line, be sure to also say the previous line as well, so that you can match the tone, and the engineer could also kind of stitch them at like certain parts as far as like certain words, whatever, like it's more leg room to be able to web the takes together. But other than that, thank you for submitting. Really sick track, great production overall. Really,
This was a certified banger.
we have some crazy records that have been submitted this week. Thank you. So next we're going to go to the record Bigger Picture by Sir Kage. Let's take a listen.
Gonna see the bigger picture when she's in my room. That little bitch stole my heart, I should've knew. I gave her money, gave her time, and gave her pride. I gave her all I had, then she took me for a ride. Gonna see the bigger picture when I'm off the shrooms. That little bitch broke my heart, I should've knew. I gave her money, gave her time, and gave her pride. She took all I had, then she threw me to the side. I just dropped my main bro and got a new hoe. I pray to God I don't swerve off of this road, trying to push my hurt. Gotta keep that silk clothes I've been slaying and saving like an anti-hero. You said you love me, but you left so fast. I gave you my heart and you left a slash. Better hop in the
wish I would've passed. You hurt me bad and then you left. I never did you dirty and that's a fact. It's so cold I got the shivers walking to my doom. Girl, I thought we had a spark but you blew the fuse. Nose is bloody doing lines, you the reason why. I say you're screaming at the sky trying to sleep at night. It's so cold I got the shivers climbing.
Alright, so that marks 1 minute and 30 seconds. Thank you for submitting. Sick track, guys. Wow. I loved the 808s for knocking and the vocals. They were nice and up front. Really cool track, Sir Kage, Bigger Picture. Thank you for submitting. And I loved the kind of guitar sample that was in the background as well. So really nice, and especially the just the groove of that bass was super sick. Let me know if you produced that song, because that was really solid with the production. And the beat overall was mixed very solidly.
Gave her money, gave her time, and gave her pride.
Like overall, the whole track was mixed solidly, including the vocals. Actually, the what's that called? Like the claps were very up front. Like everything had its own space. The 808s were knocking. The hi-hat patterns were really cool and had their own space, and they were nice and bright. The vocals were up front. As far as like critiques go, really the only thing would be, I feel like the vocals could have a little bit less processing on them, like a little bit less, like the reverb effect. Like, and the delays were a little bit loud. The ping pong delay that you had was on the loud side, so I would bring that down as well. Because with the delay effects like that, you want them to be more of felt than heard. You don't want them to be like so upfront where it's a little distracting about what's happening in the mix. Like what it sounds like is that you have a 2-track and you recorded vocals over it. And the beat was mixed really solid, and your vocals, like they were mixed solid as well, but some of the effects, they just didn't, like your vocals felt like they were just kind of in a different space than the instrumental was, and I feel like there's that disconnect. So I would just lower some of your effects to kind of give the illusion that the vocals and the instruments are in the same space. That being said, also the last thing that I would say is also with your melodies. The melodies, guys, are so important to really, solidify and not have it too monotonous throughout, because you don't want to kind of go back and forth between the same melody and phrasing throughout the whole tracks, because as a listener, like as a listener, when you're listening to the track, as soon as something just like you lose interest very quickly. So that's why, like, I feel like that's going to be the the main takeaway from today's stream, is that your melodies, when you are doing melodic type things, are everything, and you have to make sure that it is melodically interesting to listen to, and it's not just going back and forth. And it takes time to really perfect that, but really the main way is, as I described in a previous review, is for you to do like a few takes without writing, play the beat, and just hum or just like sing melodies until you have like a few that you like, and then stitch them together, like phrase, this is the verse, this is the pre, this is the hook, or whatever arrangement that you would like to have, so that when you go in, you already know that your track is melodically interesting without the words, and now you just add the words. So that's really my the only thing that I really have, the main thing. So thank you for submitting, Sir Kage, Bigger Picture. Let's get it. We have some seriously sick records, guys, today. How's everyone in the chat doing? Anything fun this week? Anything exciting? Anything terrible? What's been going on with you guys? Let me know in the comments as I get this next record up and going. Starstruck by DJ Music. Let's get it. Another regular at the stream. Appreciate you for submitting every week consistently. Appreciate you. So let's get it. Released 5 days ago. Nice panning automation. So that is the 1 minute and 30 mark. Thank you for submitting DJ Music, Starstruck. Let's get it. Super sick track. Thank you. Wow. No, I love the what's it called? The string elements. It made me feel like I was back in playing in an orchestra. It's a really cool stuff that you had going on regarding the string parts that you had. Very melodic, the track, and on top of the 808 pattern, really cool. And I really loved the way that they kind of slid up to the different notes. So really cool in that aspect. And as well with the, as I believe I said during the track as well, listening, the panning automation that you had in the hi-hats, really solid. That's a great way to add some depth to your tracks. So really cool work as far as that goes. And just like the overall like moody kind of feel and atmosphere that it started off with the keys, really solid work in that aspect as well. As far as critiques go, what I would say is the sound selection. Some of the sound selections could be a little bit more fine-tuned, especially the 808 samples that you had going on. They just didn't really have a lot of low frequency, a lot of sub frequency going on, and I just really wish those 808s would just really knock. And I would just really take the time and just develop like a few 808 sounds that you just really love, and they just knock, and just really just keep those in the arsenal. So when you do say, okay, I need an 808 that just like knocks and it has some like top end or it's a little distorted, like you already have those 808s to choose from, and you have that template for yourself. So that's the main thing. Like the hi-hat sounds and the snares were cool. The more melodic instruments I feel like could be improved as far as the sound design as well. The keys, try adding a sustain pedal to the keys every now and then, and that'll help give it more of like a real feel, because if you're not playing the keys yourself, if you are having a sustain pedal will definitely help make it feel like it's more of like a played type sample that you programmed yourself. It'll make it have that real feel. But other than that, no, really solid. Dope idea. Some small changes, like to take it to the next level. That's the idea. Like hopefully, like I know everyone who submits are on different, like as far as like doing different production, like different genres and different like for how long they've been doing it as well. So I love hearing like just everyone's records, because there's so many solid tracks, and I definitely know what it's like to have a track and it's like you have the idea in your head and it's just really hard to get those sounds that exactly what's in your head to really come through the speakers. And sometimes it's really frustrating doing sound design, like you're like trying to get that like that one sound that you have in your head and just spending like so many hours either searching through presets or like trying to design it yourself, and you're just like sometimes it just takes you just have to take a break from it, like that's, and just step away. But really cool track, DJ Music, thank you for submitting. Really sick record. Next we have I'm definitely going to pronounce this wrong, but this is Trusc, also a familiar face. Trusc. Shout out to Trusc. Thank you for submitting. We have Reichenbach. Oh God, I am so sorry, Trusc. But I will play the record. Let's get it.
Mama always told me I would never be the best, about beating all the people, chasing an eagle to its nest on a steeple like a stork. Now they're caught up in my net, and I passed them when we fought, but they forced me to my best. And I'm learning over tricks, take the shit, ain't a trade. And they're sucking like the tits, where the tits on my veins. And I never could have wished to be missing in the rain. I ain't kidding, I ain't wishing, cause my mission is the same. So I'm needing better enemies, the betters within enemies. I'm drowning deep down, and I never be terribly sorry for the things that I knew I had to do. Ain't sorry for the things when I had nothing to lose. So I stomach all the beef like it's coming with a juice. So I'm cutting off the cheek if it's free. 3, make it 2, make it 3, make it 4, pay a fee, pay 'em more, cause I'm digging out the ditches, but I'm getting pretty bored. And I'm calling out the idiots, cause you're gonna need a loofah. They're in the game and you're looking like a trooper. Coming out to sleep, but you're living in a stupor. Welcome to a world with a bit of darker future. Better than I'm used to, better cause the truth hurts. Wanna go and win, then you always gotta lose first. Don't involve the losses, so I'm picking up a few hurts. Sticking in the bodies, take a tour to a new church. You heard, newcomer on the block. Taking all my idols and I put them on the block for a sheep herd. I'm a shepherd with a flock, no teacher. But my learnings have a cost, so I'm keeping all my cards to my chest in a cage. And my ribs with my heart, there's no keys to this game. If you wanna get ahead, better bleed, better pain. And I'm cutting up the skin, cutting deep, find the veins. Cause I need another inkwell right now. Add a couple cheap frails, bite down. Another couple derailed, quite loud. Skipping over details, my sound is quite rowdy, quite Larry. Gonna need a bigger bat, you wanna try and scare me. Gonna need to back off, gonna need to ban off. Don't even train, but you're looking for the dairy. Carelessness is most sadistic. Get yourself hurt, that's a tick.
That is the 1 minute and 30 mark. Thank you for submitting, Trusc. Let's get it.
This was a certified banger.
Let's get it. No, really cool track. I wish I could pronounce the name. I'm very sorry, Trusc. But what's it called? Overall, really cool vibes. Like, as always, like, I love to hear your tracks, Trusc. Like, I just love the energy that you bring to the tracks as like, as a what's it called, as a rapper. And I always love to hear like the UK rap that is coming through, because we don't really get that here in the States, which is really a shame, honestly. It's super underground, and that's really a shame. As far as like the track goes, like, I just love the samples. The beat was sick. The what's it called?
Mama
the
always
drums
told me I would never be the best about beating all the people testing eagle to its nest on a steeple like a stalk. Now the
really sick job with that, because I believe, I'm not sure if I remember correctly, but I believe you also produced. I could be wrong with that, but
the things that I knew I had to do. Ain't sorry for the things when I had nothing to lose, so I stomach all the beat.
Super cool production, like very ominous. It really gives the vibe of what you had, like, what's it called, with the lyrics. As far as critiques go, what I would say is I wish. Okay, there we go. Sorry, froze. I realized that we, what's it called? I realized that we froze, so I stopped. But those bass elements, they definitely need to come up in the mix, because that will help bring the energy, especially when you're doing those like very gritty ad-libby type stuff. I thought my internet went down. Me too. I freaked out a bit. I was like, oh damn, oh god. But it's okay. We're back. But yes, as far as that goes, like, just the beat elements just need to knock a little bit more. The bass needs to be brought up. In the vocals, I would say definitely take the time and just really do some pocket shifting and chop up certain phrases and just make sure that everything is just flowing. Because sometimes it felt like you were just really like either ahead of the beat or really behind the beat, and that just takes like just a good like maybe 15 minutes to just really go through and chop up every line and just do some nudging, like a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, until you just get it right in the pocket, and that will just take your track like from this to this. But really sick track. Thank you for submitting, Trusc. Let's get it. Next we have Summertime Heat by Big Yon. Let's get it.
Paradox.
Yeah, summer day, ain't no time to waste away. All I wanna do is play every day. No time to wait, I'll be there straight away. At the end of the day, I just wanna say,
we can slow down time if you wanna. Summertime heat, got us swimming in the water. Yeah, we really gotta get away. Got no time to waste, gotta find a way.
Nice. The stream is bugging out.
yeah, okay, let me tell you a little story. Yeah, I met this girl and I thought she was my glory. So I decided to shoot my shot like I'm Rory. I said, girl, you're the only one for me. You a masterpiece. Yeah, said I'd throw a story on the top of a couple beats. I'll buy you the world, and girl, that's the least. Tryna buy you out, so don't put me on lease, yeah. Yeah, summer day, ain't no time to waste away. All I wanna do is play every day. No time to wait, I'll be there straight away. At the end of the
swimming in the water. Yeah, we really gotta get away. Got no time to waste, gotta find a way.
Hop of the coupe, shivering blue, surrounded by friends and I think about you. All of the things that we could do, get in the water and take off your shoes. With time.
That is the 1 minute and 30 mark. Thank you for submitting. Big Yon, Summertime Heat. Let's
This
get
was
it.
a certified banger.
Yeah. Everyone in the comments is pretty much just saying that it's pretty much consensus that the hook section was solid, was fire. So really cool. And I definitely agree. The hook section definitely was the highlight of the track, and I love it. That's what's it called? I really loved that. And I just loved it had like kind of like I wouldn't want to say like an island kind of feel to it a little bit, just by like the kind of marimba type element plucks that were going on in the beginning, and some of the percussion elements that you had going on. It definitely was a really cool production as well, other than just the vocals and the vocal melodies. It was very melodically interesting, which is really solid. As far as like critiques go, what I would say is the vocals in the hook section, as cool as they were, I just wish that they were a little bit more processed. They felt too dry and out of place. And meaning that the vocals could have sounded bigger, and they could have added some more reverbs and delays to really give it that space. And those background vocals, because you had some really nice stacks going on in harmonies, could have been just a little bit locked in more and just kind of spread throughout the the depth of fields a little bit more. So some things like panned hard left, panned hard right, and just kind of through the middle, because it sounded like you had at least
I'll be there to say.
4
in the water. Yeah, we really gotta get away. Got no time to waste, gotta find a way.
It sounds like 3 or 4 vocals. What I would recommend for you to do is double the do 2 more do 2 more stacks of the main note, pan them hard left and right, do 2 more 1 more stack of each of the harmony notes, and have a left and a right, and that will just really thicken out the harmonies as well. And then add some like compression overall to a background bus. And if you don't know what that is, definitely look that up. If you're the one who's doing the mixing, route everything to a bus and do some bus processing, some bus compression to really just glue them together and send them all through a reverb send and a delay send, so that it just gives it that sense of space. Because when that hook section comes, you want it to sound massive, you want it to sound wide, and it just didn't hit where it was supposed to. And that's the way to do it. So, but other than that, really cool track. Loved the vibe. And send it to a plate. Like a plate reverb is solid. Yeah, as TigerBlood Studios has said in the live chat here, a plate reverb is a great reverb to be able to do that. That, and like sometimes I'll use even like a hall reverb as well, just to really give that really cool stuff. And always EQ your reverbs and take some of the low frequencies out using a high pass filter to just really get rid of some of that mud. Usually I put it around like 400 to 600 hertz, just cutting down with a relatively steep slope to just get some of that mud out. But really cool track. Thank you for submitting. Next we have Traumatized, Tell Me Why by YDG JeeJayy. I'm sorry if I pronounced that, mispronounced that, but let's take a listen. Nice.
Tell me why she got me traumatized. I see it in her eyes, a demon in disguise. She take advantage of me like baby AYBAE, but say she really love me. She want me to die. Yeah, bitch, don't kill my vibe, but crush me with them thighs. Just say another night. I need you till I die. Whoa, I've been on a lonely road, baby. I need you to know I've been vibing with the bros, bitches blowing up my phone, but I only want you, baby. That's what you should know. I won't give up. Yeah, I need another chance. I just wanna be your man, but I'm still gonna take deep ends. Say they love me, but I know they really all his fans. Tell me why she got me traumatized. I see it in her eyes, a demon in disguise. She take advantage of me like baby why, but say she really love me. She want me to die. Tell me why she got me traumatized. I see it in her eyes, a demon in disguise.
That is the 1 minute and 30-second mark. Thank you for submitting. Traumatized. Tell me why. YDG JeeJayy. Thank you for submitting. Really sick track. It was really fun. I absolutely loved the synths that you had going on in the beginning. Like it was kind of like melodically, like what's it called, Rhodes type, like very bright keys going on, and just the overall production definitely fit your vocals for sure. That kind of really fun, like bouncy type track. And the chords were really solid, and overall, like, yeah, I totally agree. It was very catchy. The hook section, the melodic, what's it called, the melody that you had going on in the vocals were really solid. I definitely would, what's it called, definitely would get that caught in my head for sure. And the just the overall vibe was just fun. I just love fun, cheerful. It's just nice to hear tracks like that, you know? So really cool job in that regard. Let's go. As far as critiques go, I would say the ad-lib vocals that you had going on, they felt very harsh, and they had a lot of very like harsh frequencies that were very piercing. I would say like around like the 2K range. So I would just watch out for that. When you have really heavy reverb type ad-libs and kind of distorted kind of vibes, there tends to be like a lot of resonant frequencies that are really harsh. So just be careful and always make sure to go through with an EQ. Just listen to those, like listen to it as like, does this hurt when I turn it up in a loud volume? If it does, maybe you should duck some of those harsh frequencies out, or trying to figure out what frequencies are piercing in your ears, because that was the first thing that I thought of when the ad-libs came in. Like, really cool melodies and what you're doing is sick. It's just it was just a little harsh. And I would turn down the ad-libs overall a little bit, and turn down the wet as the wet knob as far as like some of the reverb effects that you had going on. So there is still some of that dry signal coming through, so it's not just completely drowned out with reverb. But really, that's really the only things. Thank you for submitting. Traumatized. Tell me why by YDG JeeJayy. Let's get it. Thank you. Next we have video. Oh no, we have a private video. No. It's okay. We'll move on to the next one. My beats are trash. Hard piano trap beat. Party's over. Let's take a listen. Another person from another stream, from last stream. Let's get it.
You're a monster.
Nice. This track is sick. Wow, very good job.
This was a certified banger.
Wow, no, those drums were knocking. My beats are trash. Hard piano trap type beat. Party's over. Wow, I definitely got the hard piano trap vibes from that. The keys and the elements. This is a great example to anyone who I've ever said what it sounds like when an 808 is distorted without losing those bass frequencies when it's done properly. And wow, did you do it properly? That was, honestly, that was very solid. There's really not much to say as far as critiques go for that, because just like, it was just, had that grit in all the right places. Like, I would love to hear an artist go crazy on this track. Like, seriously, if anyone does lyrics to that, seriously send it over. I would love to hear that. But as far as like critiques go, the only thing that I could say, the only thing that I heard immediately was when one of the kick drums came in after the break with just the pianos. It felt like either whatever limiter that you had going on didn't act fast enough, or maybe it was too fast, and it just cut that bass out, and I was really missing that impact. It was like, I'll be able to point it out. Hold on, let me get it. I'll be able to point it out. Right there. That part, especially right in the beginning, it kind of went boom, like it was boom. I wish it was boom boom, like I wish it hit hard, that first initial impact, because that first impact is everything. That sets the tone. So you want to make sure that whatever like sidechain maybe processing that you have on the kick might be going too ham just for the initial.
You're a monster.
But just watch that. Really, really solid work. My beats are trash. Hard piano trap beat. Party's over. Thank you for submitting. Let's go.
This was a certified banger.
Let's get it. Next we have Victim, produced by Instinct, the YouTube channel T6. Let's take a listen.
Scandy. Instinct.
I'm feeling like a motherfucking rock star, but y'all acting like I'd sacrifice my son up at the altar. Nah, the fuck is what you saying is my fault when it's not, bitch. All this shit you blame me for is false, yeah. Tryna shoot me out, but you took the shit too far, cause you make a motherfucker wanna catch another charge. I ain't lying to you, girl, I ain't tryna act all hard, but you pay me as a monster, I'm just tryna play the part. Nah, nah, tell your lies, tell your lies, tell your lies. When I act like I don't know you, don't be acting so surprised. Yeah, you thinking you so bad because you fuck a lot of guys. Stupid bitch, you just a hoe, it's not that hard to visualize. There's a lot of things about you that ain't even worth a mention. Pop that ass to get attention, you're so fucking one-dimensional. Your whole existence, one I wish that just went missing. Yeah, you try to play the victim, won't be getting no forgiveness. Nah, no recognition, nah, cause I'm so fucking sick of all the lies that you've been spitting, about to push me to my limits. Oh, yeah, I'm religious, and I know this is malicious, but I gotta get to business, only got a couple minutes, and I'm feeling like a motherfucking rock star, but y'all acting like I'd sacrifice my son up at the altar. Nah, bitch, you got no wisdom, narcissistic symptoms, way too many issues I can list them. Tell your lies, make me
Awesome. That was Victim, by produced by Instinct, and the artist I believe is T6. Let's get it.
This was a certified banger.
Really sick track. Thank you for submitting. Loved the vocal melody that especially came in right out the bat. Really solid melody, and the bass synths were right nice and in your face. As far as like the track goes, like I loved the swing of the track was nice. The vocal flow was really sick. Really cool, like melodic stuff happening in the background as well in the instrumental, and it had a lot of like cool ear candy elements, like as far as the instrumental goes. So really sick job, whoever did the like. Shout out to Instinct for that. So really cool job. As far as critiques go for the track, I would say the vocals felt a little thin. They could have been a little bit more processed. I felt like they were just lacking a little bit of oomph, and they could have been just a lot more in your face. Like I would add some compression to your vocals to really get that like even out, really in your face vocals. Saturate your vocals just a hair, nothing crazy. Like use some sort of like tube saturation, just really just like get your vocals just a little distorted, because I feel like that would really aid the kind of suspense in this type of track, especially in the beginning. Or maybe even experiment, because immediately I thought it would be really cool if there was an octave up, that was doing exactly what you were doing in the, I believe this is the hook section, but it just felt like it was just missing something. And I feel like doing all those things in conjunction with each other would definitely help bring the hook section to make it feel like it's just huge. So, and the drums overall could use some more processing. They felt a little thin, and I wish they just knocked a little harder, and your vocals felt a little bit on top of the beat instead of mixed with the beat. So I would just, what's that called? Maybe have some more like reverb on the vocals to really give that sort of depth. And TigerBlood Studio also says, what's it called? Maybe ad-libs define the space. I definitely agree. Ad-libs would definitely help this track because there's just really, like, I feel like you need to make the vocals in the same space as the instrumental, and the instrumental feels like it's just really wide and atmospheric, and you need to have some sort of elements like that with your vocals to kind of give the sense of space as well. And ad-libs is a great way to achieve that. But yeah, thank you for submitting. We will move on to the next one. We have, I will definitely pronounce that wrong, I apologize, by AYBAE Novili. So we will get to it. Thank you for submitting. Let's get it. Let's hear it.
Renn durch meine Stadt, Sekundenschlaf, bin schon seit Tagen wach, jetzt meine Haut so blass, bin so wie ich immer war, Chaos in meiner DNA, weil sagst du magst meine Art, nie konzentriert, weil alles sich verliert, hab zu viel konsumiert, ich steh grad neben mir, alles zerfließt in meiner Hand, und ich weiß nicht, was ich hier mach, ich hab nur kurz an was gedacht. Sommergewitter in meinem Kopf, versucht zu schlafen. Regen prasselt auf mich ein, alles verwaschen. Sonne scheint, ich war mein Arzt, erinnere mich nur an ein paar Sachen. Seh mir, was ich so verpasse, übermüdet jeden Tag. Sommergewitter in meinem Kopf, versucht zu schlafen. Regen prasselt auf mich ein, alles verwaschen. Sonne scheint, ich war mein Arzt, erinnere mich nur an ein paar Sachen. Seh mir, was ich so verpasse, übermüdet jeden Tag lang. Weil ich weiß nicht, wann es aufhört, verwischt von meinen Augen. Weiß nicht, ob das ein Traum ist. Ich war viel zu lange wach, sag dir, hab ich so viel verpasst. Hab nur kurz nicht nachgedacht, ich mach, was du machst. Bin planlos in meinen Nikes und wir sind grad allein.
That is the 1 minute and 30 mark. Thank you for submitting. Wow, those vocals were crazy. Those vocals were crazy. Really sick work. Like, absolutely loved the vocal tone. Fit the track so well, and the way that it built was so nice. Like, I love the Jersey club going into the drill. Like, I know a few producers, like, it sounds like it's very interesting because it sounds like it's made from another country, just based off of just obviously the language is different than English. But it has, like, it sounded like a producer that was, like, from my area, funny enough. Like, just because it had that Jersey club element, and it also had that drill kind of feel as well, because a lot of producers in my area tend to kind of switch between the two. So it's really cool to hear that kind of sound is kind of branching off. Yeah, German, yeah, that definitely makes sense. But really sick work on that. Really cool job. As far as critiques go, I would say the reverb is a little bit too heavy-handed. I would back off with some of the wet knob on the reverb. I just lowered depending on how you have the reverb routed, I would lower the send like a little bit, just so there's a little bit more of the dry vocal coming through. Vocals were great. They were nice and upfront, but I felt like there were times where there were some timing issues where the vocals were just a little bit behind the beat. So I would just take the time, chop up the vocals, make sure that they are in pocket with the track, especially when there's so many percussive elements like that. You really can't get away with it being late like that at certain times, because the beat is just in your face, and you just really want to make sure that the vocals are just locked in with the track. So definitely do some pocket shifting. Overall, really cool track. Love the build, and yeah, thank you for submitting. Let's get it. Next track we have Unborn by the artist Patrick John. Let's hear it.
All good things have a beginning, and all painful things have an end. You just gotta stick it out. But sometimes it's the hardest thing. Close your eyes and walk with me.
Yeah, the last to do it, cause these rappers thought they beat me to it. This is food for thought, we passed them up and keep our movement secret. Coming from a cold place, ice was on my north face, feeling anemic. Rolling through my city and they can't believe it. Rappers, they was on me. I navigated IEDs, that's my reason. I see amputees and then I pledge allegiance. Man, I got a lot of, I'm scarring you Mufasa on the ledge you leaving. We were never friends unless I met you bleeding. Years without a track, let the rappers get fat. That's better eating, feeling like I'm Jaws and you won't put your feet in vicious. I was in this game and I was making wishes. Came into it late, I'm sorry that you had to wait. It's hard admitting, cause I was crippled by a thought that tripled indecision. Tried to copy other rappers, but my thoughts were different. Took some time off, guess it really made me soft. But the coffin's lifted, try to close my eyes, I don't often listen.
And try to close my eyes, I don't often listen. Look, just let it breathe.
I'm broken hearted, took my pain and made it my new target. I'm broken hearted, took my pain and made it my new target. Down.
Hey, that was the 1 minute and 30 mark. Thank you for submitting. Wow. Overall, like, that track was really
This
solid.
was a certified banger.
Supreme knockage.
Wow, everything about that track was very well put together. Nice work. The sample that you had going on, the Rhodes kind of keys that had going on, those drums were knocking. The flow that you had going on as the artist was superb. Like, honestly, there's not really much to say.
But thought they beat me to it. This is food for thought. We passed them up
really,
and keep our movement segregated. IEDs, that's my reason.
It was just well put together. The vocals nice and up front, in your face, drums knocking, bass clean, the sample nice and wide, everything was mixed together very solidly. I really don't have that much to say.
This was a certified banger.
I see amputees and then I better eat it. Feeling like I'm Jaws and you won't put your feet in.
Like, there's really not much. Like, I'm trying to think of things.
Beat me to it. This is food for thought. We passed them up and keep our movement secret.
The only thing I could think of is maybe just a little bit more energy in the delivery in the beginning. That's really it. Like, I just really feel like you could just kind of just drive it home and just really give it 110% in that beginning.
Coming from a crab place, ice was on my north face.
And maybe just shift the vocals like back a hair, like pocket wise. Just like shift all the vocals just back, like behind the beat, just like a hair. Other than that, really solid job.
At a weight, it's hard and often listen.
Just let it breathe.
Really sick job. Thank you for submitting. Wow. Sick track. Definitely go, what's it called, and promote that. So now we have HaamidHarris. I believe that's how, correct me if I said your name wrong. All I need. I know you're in the chat. Let's go. Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about. I want it, you want it, we want it cool. All I need is good, good love for you.
That is 1 minute and 30 seconds. Thank you for submitting. Let's go. Shout out to let me say if it's Haamid, I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. HaamidHarris, All I Need. Really sick track. Loved the the build up and that kind of like that like very synthy bass in the drop. That very like almost like an acid kind of bass. And let me know, are those your vocals? Like, because the vocals are sick. I really thought they definitely sound like they fit the house genre very well. Like, and you could just go really ham with those vocal chops. Really, as far as critiques go, I felt like when the drop happened, it could have been more. I wish the hi-hats that you had on the offbeat swung hi-hat, the open hi-hats, came in right when it dropped with the bass synths, and you had some sort of like 16th note element that was going on that was kind of like really driving the track. The male vocals are mine, but the female vocals is a sample. Awesome. Like, it really was solid. Like, and just that, especially like that kick drum needs to knock. That's the other thing. Kick drum definitely needs to knock there as well, and maybe add like a snare, like on like 2 and 4, or like a clap or something, just like dark, not bright, something dark, to really like help it drive, but only have that like where you added the hi-hats is where I would add that like dark snare, like that dark claps into the track mix. But other than that, like really sick record. Love the track. The vocals also, the vocals recording, it sounds like there's a lot of room noise, and I don't know if that might be just like a reverb that you have on your vocals, but if so, there's a plugin that I have recently discovered that is really solid at getting rid of room noise. It's called Goyo, I believe, Goyo. It's free and to download, and it is really solid at getting rid of background noise and reverb of a room. So definitely check that out. Any producer in here that's looking for a really solid plugin that's free, not sponsored obviously, but a free plugin, definitely check it out. Really cool stuff. Thank you for submitting. Let's get it. Next we have BandLab, Untitled by Anonymous and one other. This may be interesting. Let's get it. Let me know if you guys can hear BandLab, because we never had BandLab before.
Hammer lock back and I hop in the whip. Them boys cross town, need a pack and a zip. I can get you that green, I can get you that brick. Cartel contact in the phone as Rick. If you wanna get loud and you wanna get slick, you can get laid down on the block of the strip. I count my money with a stick and a whip, and I pity the fool who thinking I'll slip. So I took the jag and I left the rolls. Luda playing in the cut while I smoke a bowl.
Coming through good, thank you.
The stick and he got the pole, so we could play 2 on 2 if you want to go. I snatch the packs and I dip and roll. Trunk full as I fly down 44. I'm blowing loud out of Optimo, and if I get pulled, I'ma have to run for show. One phone call, have them at your door with a Mossberg buck until you're on the floor. We want the cash and we want the dope, and if you test us, we gon' make your head explode. I push the whip and I drift the pole until the tires run bald and the cool and low, and I don't give a fuck, cause the truck is stole. Leave it round the block, don't ever park it home. I spark a blunt, bumping De La Soul, hoping they miss shots at the boys I know. I bump Pac while I'm back at home, and them Jack boys hot, cause the cash so cold. Big fat wads, no folds, all rolls, and I be giving back to the folks I know. I'm wildin', yeah, big time, and spitting flows tighter than a teenage hind. Damn, now I was wrong for that. Like to have a little fun while I bust my raps. I like to have a little gun while I twist the pack. I roll around town with it sitting on my lap.
So that is 1 minute and 30. Thank you for submitting. Yeah, could use some glue compression on the master. Definitely agree. As far as like critiques go for the track, they're really solid. I love the initial vocal, the synths they had going on, and the vocals. The vocal flow was really cool as well. And the drum swing was also, it felt like it fit the track nicely, and all the elements were glued together. As far as like production wise. As far as critiques go, overall the vocals need some balancing volume wise, because there were times where the different, I believe it's you and another vocal, I could be wrong, but when you would go back and forth, the volumes and even the space just sounded very different, and I would definitely take the time, go in and just automate the volumes to make sure that they are all on the same level. And that will really just help the track blend overall a lot more. And the in which case you may need to rebalance the verb 100%. Yeah, I definitely agree. And the track overall just felt very it felt very thin, and like it just was not like mixed. And I feel like the track overall definitely needs some mixing, because like it is definitely on the quiet side. So I would definitely either get the track mixed and mastered, or figure out how to really get those elements to fit yourself. And I always recommend artists to just even know some basic processing stuff helps a lot. And I know BandLab has a lot of really great presets for that as well. But other than that, cool record. Thank you for submitting. Next we have Black Bentleys by King Naj. Let's get it.
Why he do that, boy, like that? Huh, I feel like famous Los. I turn the booth into a crime scene, I do the most. First 48 leave you hog-tied, stupefied. I tell your girl to open up the hatch, she open real wide. They say I'm being aggressive, that's me being expressive. You can tell my expression, I enjoy teaching lessons. My word is my bond, you see that's good invested. My grandma used to say, some problems are blessings. This world keeps spinning, so you know that I gotta get it. The popular phrase is mine, I spend it. I mean, I get it. But I'm over frivolous spending. That's why I rap and I let Will get to the business. Head of the table, surrounded by wise men. Anytime I'm on the mic, I'm the main event. See me out in the streets, they acknowledge me. Call off, I tell Seeker that I'm the tribal chief. I skirt off, I make sure to get good and go. Sasha said, lead them downtown, girls alone. I want my homies in black Bentleys and black Rovers. Bend the corners in the canyons and Testarossa. I skirt off, I make sure to get good and go. Sasha said, lead them downtown, girls alone. Everything don't last forever, that's understood. Long as a nigga make it home, then we all good. I walk inside a booth without a care. I'm all about making hits, so it ain't fair.
That was the 1 minute and 30 mark. Thank you for submitting.
This was a certified banger.
I love the feel of that. That was so like nice. It had like that old school feel to it, like that 90s hip hop feel to the beat, and that's, wow, that was a really sick track overall.
I'm breathing
like just like I just love the sample. Like, let me know who produced that. Did you produce that? Because that was definitely sick. What's it called? I would say, as far as the
lessons, my word is my bond. You see, that's good invested. My grandma used to say.
There's not really much to say, like as far as critiques go, because overall it was just really solid. The delivery, as said in the chat, really solid. The beat production, really solid. There's not much for me to say. Like maybe the compression could be just a little bit less, like a hair less. It felt like just a little over compressed for the vocals. And maybe just a little bit wider overall. Maybe using like an imager to really like spread some of the frequencies overall, because it could be a little bit wider. But like, that's just like being nitpicky there.
This world keeps spinning, so you know that I gotta get it. To pop and I let Will get to the business. Head of the table.
Like honestly, very well mixed track. In the chat, this vocal is a hair hot, may need to do some high passes or brat down a dB or two. To sit on the track. I can see that. To me personally, I kind of like it being really up front. But that, I think that's more personal taste. You could get away with having it a little bit less. I could definitely hear that.
I enjoy teaching lessons.
But I do like.
My bond. You see, that's good invested. My grandma used to say.
I could hear where you. I could definitely hear the vocals being turned down a little bit, to really like sit in with the track as well. So definitely like I would definitely like try maybe like just like a hair like 2 dB.
Hey, some problems are blessings. This world keeps spinning, so you know
really
that
solid.
I gotta get it. To pop.
Thank you for submitting. What's it called? I did see FuckYuhFeelinz. You did say, I just wanted to go through the review first before addressing. I submitted yesterday. Did I go through? I'm actually still on tracks from 2 days ago. We got a decent amount of submissions this week. So what's it called? Like we got quite the amount of submissions this week, honestly. But as far as, yes, I do have your track here in the pipeline. So I do have your track here. But thank you for submitting. Also, I do, while we're here, just want to take a brief, what's it called? A brief period of time to say, if you like the live stream, be sure to hit the like button on the live stream. It helps the algorithm. And if you found any of the reviews or any of the information helpful, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification for every time we go. You'll get notified every time we go live. We go live every Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we have the submission form is always posted in our Discord server first. So that's going to be for next live stream next week, for next Saturday. It will be on our Discord server first, so be sure to also join our Discord server as well to be the first, to be some of the first artists that come through on the stream. So definitely check that out. But thank you everyone for submitting. It means a lot. So next we have Smit beat by DKOTM. Let's get it. Thank you for submitting. Wow, what a sick track. I love that sample. Really nice. Wow. And what's it called? This was just posted 2 days ago, so really cool. Thank you for submitting. I always love to see when, like, I love seeing old tracks, but it's really also cool to hear tracks that just came out as well. So I love to see it. Thank you. As far as the track goes, love the sample. The beat, it was just an overall, it was just a vibe, very melodic. I think it was like almost like a trumpet sample, just really like muffled at certain points, and you had like the keys going on, and the drums were definitely like, you programmed the drums, which was really nice. And like, I just really loved the vibe, and I just love that, like, that rim sample you had going on is really sick. Really the only thing as far as critiques go, what I would say is the track overall felt like it could have been glued a little bit more. It felt like it was just missing that glue, that bus glue, that mix bus glue that would just really just take the elements and just make them all in the same space. And especially because when you have a sample that is that saturated and that filtered and lo-fi, what's it called? The drum elements, if they're too clean and they're too upfront and they don't really match the vibe, kind of feel like they're out of space. So I would just maybe like go ahead and maybe add some saturation to your drums as well. Not nearly the same. I would not saturate them the same way that you sampled, you did for the sample, but some sort of grit on the drums would definitely help bring that into the same space. Some mix bus compression would definitely glue everything together, so it's pumping in the all just kind of just getting ducked when the rims are happening. It just glues the track together, and it's just something that once you hear it, it's like you gotta have it for every track. And what's it called? The mastering as well could be a little bit louder, but the drums are knocking. They just need to have that a little bit more of an oomph. But really cool track. Thank you for submitting. Next we have TigerBlood Studios. Shout out to TigerBlood Studios in the chat. And they used to submit a lot for the previous live streams that we did. So shout out to TigerBlood Studios. Can't wait to hear Passage. Let's get it. That is the 1 minute and 30 mark. Thank you for submitting, TigerBlood Studio. Wow.
This was a certified banger.
Let's go. Wow. Very nice track. I love it had very creepy, ominous kind of feel to it, and a lot of really nice textural sounds going on in the instrumental and the vocals. The processing that you had in the vocals were really cool, especially like you did like what's really cool to hear very consistently in your tracks is that there's always this kind of like very vocal heavy-handed vocal effects processing that you have on your vocals, and you always tend, it's really interesting. I always hear that you're definitely experimenting with that throughout the track and trying different effects, and I love to see the creativity and just overall just having those horn stabs really cool. Drums were definitely really solid, like all very well produced. So thank you for submitting. As far as critiques go, what I would say is that the low information in the track definitely needs to be raised. The drums definitely could use some more punch. The drums, especially the kick drum and the bass, definitely need to knock a lot harder because it sounds a little bit thin overall, and there's a lot of high frequency information, especially in the vocals. So I would say maybe just take a hair out of the vocals and definitely bring out some of those drum elements, especially the kick drum and the bass. Those could definitely be brought up, and just watch the key signature with the horns that you had going on there, because there's a part of the track when there's everything's together and you switch the vocal effect from being that thin, very compressed, bright vocal to that kind of more distorted, saturated vocal sound around 1 minute in the track. I think it's a little bit sibilant. Yeah, I would definitely agree. I would say in that section, I would say watch the key for the horns, because I feel like the horns are clashing with the the melodic kind of key element that you had going on. Where is that? Yeah, right there. So just be careful of that. But other than that, really cool track. Thank you for submitting Passage, TigerBlood Studio. Thank you. Wow, we had some serious bangers. This was also submitted 2 days ago. Wow, love hearing the recent tracks that everybody's been submitting. Let's get it. So next we have Alone by Channel. I believe this is also someone from our Discord server. Shout out to Channel. I believe that's how you say your name. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let's hear it.
Up all night long, writing rhymes, hugging trees. I got way too many dreams, yeah, yeah. Way too many dreams, yeah, yeah. In my way, I'ma run right through you. This ain't nothing new to me. all my life, yeah, yeah. All my life, we're burning in the mountain park. I wonder if I die, would this come to your eyes? Forgive me for my disrespect, forgive me for my life. You don't even love me like you did when I was younger. Sucking on that just to stop my fucking hunger. If I die, would this come to your eyes? Forgive me for my disrespect, forgive me for my lies. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow, shout out, let's get it. Alone freestyle. Wow, yeah, definitely. What's it called? Definitely love the vibe. Like, I love your vocals, man. So sick job. As far, yeah, what's it called? A lot of the times they will be here. What's it called? It's really cool. So thank you for submitting. Really, really solid track. I wish it was longer. Honestly, the track, like, I wish I had more of a lead in, but your vocal melody really solid, and I always love hearing drill tracks. So really cool to hear the, what's it called, the kind of swing with your melodic type element vocals on a track that's just knocking like this one is. As far as critiques go, I definitely hear an improvement as far as the reverb goes. What's that called? I would even less so. I would put even a little less reverb on your vocals and have it, your vocals a little bit more up front. You can even compress your vocals even more if they are being compressed. They could be just a slightly even more compressed. And maybe even add just like a hair more of high end to your vocals as well. But other than that, really cool snippet. Definitely finished this. And there was some, there was one more thing, is that there was a little bit of a weird timing kind of issue that happened. I don't know if it was just the track, the producer might have done some like reverb, like reverse effect, and just didn't really sync it to the tempo or whatever. So I don't think that's necessarily your fault. But just watch the timing with that. If there's ever a track like that, try to just clip that part out, or like time it yourself, just so it's just really locked in with timing. But other than that, really awesome. Thank you for submitting Alone Freestyle. Let's go on to the next one. We actually have more than this. I just had to close some tabs because for some reason Spotify, we had so many submissions this week that Spotify basically told me like, you have way too many tabs of Spotify open. So I had to get rid of some of the tabs, unfortunately, but we will be visiting those. But first we have Ohio Is Gone by Ronin. Let's get it. Nice. Hey. That is the 1 minute and 30 mark. Thank you for submitting.
This was a certified banger.
Wow. Ronin, Ohio Is Gone. Love the name. Love the name of the track overall. Really solid song, I would say. Love the screams. Your vocals just really fit the track. I love this, the what's it called, the metalcore genre is one of my favorite genres out there, and I love hearing a nice good breakdown and some chugs. So really nice to hear, especially with the drums are just going crazy. and the guitars is really solid. Let me know, are you a band, or did you produce the track all yourself? Did you do the vocals? Let me know. What's your story? I would love to know in the comments section. As far as the track goes, really cool. Love the build up. Melodic hook was always nice to hear. I always love when the hook turns into a more melodic section after some really heavy vocals. So, and the synths are really fun too. The what's it called? The synth programming that you did is really solid as well. It reminds me of like Motionless in White, or like a Motionless in White back in like 2012 or 2011. So really cool to hear. As far as critiques go, those guitars could be beefier. I feel like they were missing a little bit of the low mids, and overall the track, it felt like there was a lot of high information that was missing out. So always when you're doing a mix for a track, especially with guitar and like with metal, like the mix elements, it's very hard to get everything to kind of fit because guitars tend to just take a lot of frequency space. But as far as what's it called, the vocals definitely needs to be brighter and brought up in the mix, especially where you do clean vocals in the hook. They felt like it got dropped out in volume and it just wasn't as evenly mixed as the screams were. So definitely could use some compression with the vocals as well. So bring the vocals up, and yeah, really sick track. Thank you for submitting. Ronin, Ohio is gone. Let's go. Next we have Enigma, Melodic Dubstep by Veirynn. Let's get it. And I will take a brief intermission after this track and load up the final tracks that we have for the night. Thank you everyone for joining. Let's listen to Enigma. I believe they were in the chat earlier. So we will listen to some melodic dubstep. Nice. So now we are at the 1 minute and 30 mark. Thank you for submitting. Enigma, Melodic Dubstep by Veirynn. Veirynn, I'm sorry if I pronounce your name wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Really cool track. I love melodic dubstep personally. Really sick, and I loved the drop that you had. Very satisfying. Let me know what synth plugin that you used for that. And I always loved dubstep, and I never really took the time to learn how to create those wubs. And definitely, what's it called? If you got any tips, let me know, because I would love to learn some wubs. How to make some wubs. What's it called? But really sick track overall. I love the atmospheric elements. The build was very satisfying. When it dropped, it dropped. It was a very satisfying drop. And a lot of times where I hear with sometimes, like they just don't hit the drop where it's supposed to, but you nailed it. So kudos to that. Really cool job on that aspect. Really, as far as critiques go for the record, the only thing that I could think of is the side-chaining processing. I believe we're just a little bit too heavy-handed, especially towards the drop, because the ducking was just going way too in and out. So just lower the, what's it called, the amount of the sidechain processing that you're throwing, or the ratio of the sidechain compressor, whatever you're using to sidechain the kicks to the rest of the synth elements. The synth elements could just be a little bit beefier. The drums felt like they were kind of sitting on top of the track. So I would just bring the drums down a little bit, but just be careful of when you're doing sidechaining, because if it ducks the track too much, it starts to lose a little bit of the energy. But and some of the drums could just have like a hair more punch to them. So that could be like an EQ thing. But other than that, really sick track. Thank you for submitting. Really,
This was a certified banger.
Really sick track. So I'm going to take a brief intermission real quick. I'm going to zoom into my face. Sorry guys in advance. Let's see. Check. 1, 2. And I'm going to pull up the last few records that have been submitted this week. So shout out to everyone who's been here in the live. Thank you guys for showing up on a Saturday evening. I appreciate it. What do you have plans for? What do you guys have plans for this week? Up and coming. Terrifying. I know. It's like ah. Anything fun planned? Washing machine beat. Let's go. It's like boo, bro. I'm sick as a dog. Feel better. That's never good. To be sick. Okay, there we go. I have FuckYuhFeelinz beat pulled up. Just getting all this information. We have Thread of Nails gonna be on here. That's sick to see. Awesome. And then we have 2 more tracks just to add. You know, what kind of project? Anyone working on like an album? Any like what's it called? Singles coming up? Let me know. Paying my dues to the porcelain gods until I can get to mixing again. Feel better. Really, being sick is always sucks. There we go. We have quite the submissions this week. I do appreciate everyone. There have been some crazy songs that have been submitted, and I always appreciate it a lot. So we only have a few more here. Fool's Journey, 23 tracks on the way. Whoa. That is quite the project. Okay, I think this was a resubmit. Let me see. I believe, oh no, this is the track that I need to take. And then we're good to go with the final 5 tracks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just making sure that I can count to 5. So, here we go. I will be pulling up the stream one last time, and then we're doing 5 more tracks, and then we are going to close out for the night. So let's get to it. Got to head off. It's like 2 a.m. Yeah, I know. Appreciate you for coming through. Pro Mumble Rappers Off album coming at you next week. I am excited. Let's go. Super exciting. We're going to listen to Wakanda Forever by FuckYuhFeelinz. Let's get it. Shout out to FuckYuhFeelinz being in the chat consistently. Thank you for submitting. FuckYuhFeelinz. Thank you. Cool track. Love the swing of the instrumental. What's it called? The instrumental is really solid. The vocals, the synth is really solid as well. This week I was able to understand more of your vocals. You still need to turn them up because it's really hard to understand what you're saying still. Fuck Your Feelings, you have to raise your vocals up even more relative to the track because it's just really hard to hear what you're saying.
Like switch
Definitely need some compression for sure. Like, and I remember you saying that you don't have like a fancy setup or anything, but I would at least add some compression to your vocals because that will definitely even it out even more, and just add some highs. So use an EQ and just boost some of the high frequencies. Other than that, no, it was a cool track. It was a vibe. The vocal flow sounded sick. I just wish that I could understand what you're saying more. You gotta break the habit of raising your vocals. But that's really it. Thank you. And you submitted this 5 hours ago. Wow. Be on your grinds. Keep at it. Let's get it. Thank you for submitting. Fuck Your Feelings. Let's get it. Yeah. OTT is free. That's right. OTT is a great compressor. And it's free. Highly recommend OTT as well. Super solid compressor. So next we have Better Lines by Perial. Let's get it. And before I start, actually, I believe Logan B, did you what's it called? Did you submit this week? Because I don't see anything from you. What's it called? There is a chance that I'm pretty sure you did say that you weren't submitting, but I just wanted to double check. But what's it called? I will play Perial. Let's get it. That's what I figured. Well, thank you for stopping by. Okay, there we go. Now it's playing. I'm excited for that.
We did what we could to save this car from crashing. Looking to the past when the present's not around. Don't know where we'll be. Just following a path when I look outside and I get turned around. And there's nowhere now that doesn't shout of your sound. The hurt is looking back now. We're solid ground, there's lesser found. It's okay to be lost sometimes. One thing I found is that looser strokes make better lines. Oh, when our feet can't make the distance, when the world's so small and distant, it seems like there's no difference. I promise, spend your life.
That is the 1 minute and 30 mark. Thank you for submitting. Wow, your vocals. Wow, I am blown away. That is very, very, very well. What's it called? Well produced track, and your vocals were crazy. I absolutely loved your vocals. Like, your tone is just so unique, and you just really gotta accentuate that. Like, definitely that was a vibe. Thank you for submitting that. Wow. Let me know, are you an artist? Like, are you a band? What is the vibes? Like, what's your story? I would love to know. And your picture definitely summarized, like, it just sounds like that kind of like chill music you listen to at the campfire. Like, so I definitely see the vision for the cover art. Really, there's not much for me to say. Like, the guitar playing was solid. The drums were, they felt like real drums. I'm pretty sure they were real drums. Your vocals were well mixed, nice and up front, had the right amount of compression, and not too much. And really, the only things that I could think of was there was a part where your vocals kind of dipped down in volume towards the end. I would have brought up your vocals a little bit. Just like a hair when it went down at like towards like a minute into the track, and the overall like
there's no.
I just wish that there was even some harmonies that you did with your vocals like towards the end of the track, but other than that, really solid track. Love the vocals. definitely continue, because you have a very unique sound. Continue making records. Seriously. Nice job. Wow. Wow. Blown away. You guys are so talented. Flip Fader we have with Clutch Basket. Let's take a listen. Another what's it called? Another person who was submitted to us in the past. Love to see it. Interesting. It's a really cool production. So that was the 1 minute and 30-second mark. Thank you for submitting Clutch Basket by Flip Fader. Wow. I love, like, as the chat was saying, super grimy. Like, that synth, that was really nice and thick synth that you had going on for the bass. And, like, the drums were just nice and driving the track. And it was just really cool the way that you kind of built the track. And it was just kind of very, very ominous and mysterious. And I really like tracks that kind of just, you just don't know where it's going to take you. And I definitely got that vibe for the track that you submitted, the Clutch Basket. Really cool stuff. As far as critiques go, the really only thing, like, the drums could just knock just a hair more, just like a hair. And I would say that I wish there was something that was a little bit more melodic inside, but that is just personal taste. You don't have to add that, because if you do want to have it more of that just ominous feel, where there's nothing to really latch onto, it's just like you don't know what's going to happen, you nailed it. If you wanted somebody to latch onto more melodically, that'll come back and bring them back to listen to it again, I would say add some sort of like really grimy, almost like a distorted like synth to go in and do something melodic. But really, really solid track production. Thank you for submitting Flip Fader, Clutch Basket. Next we have BLP KOSHER, the Knack 3. Let's get it.
Dreidel man inside, got a Dreidel man up in your weapon. Hey, I'm one. Hey. Hey. That cracker broke with no hustle, but he blames it on the Jews. Blame it on the boogie, Jackson 5 on me too. They smoking Doja, dreaming about the cat. I'm trying to make moves. How the fuck can I be claustrophobic? Lock me in the stew. Dirty Diana, I was at the Ross, now I won't dress for less. They was talking shit, but now it's congrats on your success. They want beef, zero stress. Field the fork, farm the fresh. There's plenty fish up in the sea, but that shit always comes with a catch. They gave that boy a chance, the rapper that they wouldn't answer. Poking 5 deep, full house, Danny Tanner. My chopper gay, have some respect. When I'm in Wilson, I got manners. That Glock McQueen, Alexander, let it sing just like the canter. They won't forget my silhouette, I'm lurking through their window. Get these rappers off my dick before I buy their ass a dildo. I don't give a fuck, they sending shots, tell them boys ditto. Dreidel man, hammerhead, shark, that boy a fucking minnow. Why you beefing with a kiddo? Why you talking to your pillow? I was stretching shit for shit show, but the ops, that be a shit show. I left the mark, I call it Skid Row, cause they dissing on the big bro. Standard clipping it look like a hippo, why they want me to be a sicko? Everybody around me crank no yes man, 100 round John leaders ask no info. I leave the coins in the chest of a dead man. She a little knack, now she a little nympho. Used to duet, now he do crypto. Tiny Tim, I like to tiptoe. Shit was fucked up by Calypso. He'll bomb him, no Francisco. Paul Revere.
That was 1 minute and 30 seconds. Thank you for submitting. Wow, the lyrics were something. The lyrics were definitely something, man. Wow. But the track was solid, man. I would say, as far as the track goes, the track was knocking. Vocals were very clear, can understand everything. Was mixed very solidly, and love the hair, man. Love your hair, and the album art as well. Really interesting. What's it called? Like, your branding is fascinating to me. Hillhead, Hammerhead. It was very interesting track. As far as like the critiques go for the records, I just wish that your vocals were just a little bit thicker sounding, like a little bit more low mid frequencies. Like your vocals, I could understand everything that was happening, but
So coming on, but that shit always come. They gave that boy a chance, the rapper that they wouldn't answer, poking 5 deep.
Really, that's really it. Really solid track overall. Interesting lyrics for sure. I don't know if you're like, what's it called, making he not even in this live. It happens. It happens. No worries. But thank you for submitting. Appreciate the submissions. And last but not least, we have the track. It's called Fake Bitch by Rental. So we will take a listen.
This is a rental copy.
Set me up, flake on me. You don't want the best from me. Say you got my back, you ain't shit. You's a fake bitch, fake bitch, fake bitch. I don't want no fake bitch, fake bitch, fake bitch, fake bitch.
Always saying shit, but you don't come through. You're a flaky bitch, and that's the truth. Said you'd be later by an hour or two, but now where you at, I ain't got a clue. Sitting here waiting for a whole lot of hours, guessing you're a rival like I got superpowers. You're a knock on the door, just my mind wishing you were here. It's been a long time, just waiting on you to reappear. Send me up like I'm me, you don't want the best for me. I wanna hear all the shit that you got, oh yeah, yeah. How many times do you wanna let it go? No, no, no. I don't wanna hear them lies, no. You ain't gotta lie, you ain't gotta lie, no, no, no. You ain't gotta lie if you're not into me, that's alright. If you don't wanna be intertwined like this, go.
Guys, the 1 minute and 30-second mark. Thank you for submitting. Rental, let's get it. Really cool track. Overall, love the buzzy kind of synth elements that you had going on. The high vocal pitch that you had going on was really cool as well in the beginning, and the overall like melody that you had for the vocals were solid, and the track production was pretty solid as well. As far as critiques go, I would say the track overall felt like it was just lacking energy, and I feel like that could be just because it just was a slow tempo. If you just up the tempo by like 15 BPM, I feel like the track would just move a lot more, and maybe add like something else to what's it called, to really like have the track swing, and what's it called, to really add some more, so it's not just like boom, like boom, boom, like something to really just make it swing a little bit more. But other than that, a really cool track. It definitely needs some balancing overall for volume wise, as well as stated by TigerBlood Studio. Definitely, I think that I definitely agree. The idea, as Logan B said, is definitely solid. I think it just needs some fine tuning, and I definitely got to bring up those high-pitched vocals up that you had the effect, because I couldn't understand really what was being said in the beginning, so you have to bring those elements up. But other than that, really sick work. Invada Zim, I did not see your submission when I checked last, but I will check now real quick, and if I do see it, it will be the last one of the night. But I will switch to my face briefly. Sorry guys. Check one last time. Let me see. I'm just making sure, is this a SoundCloud track here? Let me see. I'm not seeing it unless hold on. I think I'm in the wrong week, maybe. Okay, now I believe I see it. It's a YouTube track. correct me if I'm wrong. It's a YouTube track. Okay. So here we go. Okay, it's called Glock. Okay, so we'll do You're the Last track of the night. We will make it. So here we go. I have it pulled up now. So we're going to be switching back. This is the last track of the night, guys. And then we're going to end off. So Invada Zim, perfect timing. Let's get it. I'll switch back. So there we go. Check, check. 1, 2. Last thing. Last song of the night. Glock 19er. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. Invada Zim topic. Let's get it.
Yeah, Glock 19er, may no use my Nina. Hopper chopper, play with knives, Invada, cut you cleaner. From the mud, Hopper wanna play dirty. Easy, make it much messier. Glock 19er, may no use my Nina. Hopper chopper, play with knives, Invada, cut you cleaner. From the mud, Hopper wanna play dirty. Easy, make it much messier. Sakau nambama, fana kasia, banga kuma kwa mama. Kuno penga here. The gods must be crazy. They're tryna bleed, they're tryna get buried. 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 Glock 19er, may no use my Nina. From the mud, Hopper wanna play dirty. Easy, make it much messier. Glock 19er, may no use my Nina. Hopper chopper, play with knives, Invada, car you cleaner. From the mud, Hopper wanna play dirty. Easy.
There we go. That was the woman in 30-second mark. Thank you. Let's go, Invada Zim. Let's go. Sick track, man. Like, really cool that we got to catch that for the last track of the stream. So thank you for submitting. Usually we don't take submissions after a certain point, but I'll make an exception because the vibe is just really cool. Everyone in the chat's really being very constructive with everything that's being said. So definitely peep the live chat. Everyone who's seen the stream, make sure that you take the time and look at the, the live chat, because there are some gems being said in the live chat as well. But that being said, what I would say as far as the track goes, really cool. Love the vocal melodies that you had going on. Hook is really solid. I love this kind of like bit crushed element bass that you had going on as well. So really cool to hear that. And love the kind of fun synths that you had going on. And your vocal tone is really solid. Like, I love your vocal tone, man. I would say as far as the tracks overall, I would say the critiques that I have are, I wish the track went more creative with the mixing. The mixing feels like it was done by someone like who just really didn't nail the sound of it yet, because it needs to have those like really nice like delay throws and really cool like as TigerBlood Studios was saying, the the hard tune with the auto tune. Like, don't be afraid to turn that up when need be, because you can get some really cool artifacty effects with the vocals. And just overall the mix felt too dry. It needs more effect processing, some reverbs, some delays, like really solid stuff. And as being said in the chat, nice drum pattern. I totally agree. It was just a fun track overall. I would say for the mix, get more creative with the mix. Have fun with your delay throws and your reverbs and whatnot, and that will just take the track and bring it to life. But thank you for submitting. And as always, guys, there we go. Sorry about zooming in on my face. I know it's terrifying, but thank you everyone for submitting this week.
This was a certified banger.
Really solid. really solid stuff. And I just want to thank everyone for taking your time on a Saturday evening to come to our stream. I appreciate it a ton. I appreciate it a lot. And if you found any of the reviews that we said that was done today helpful, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the bell icon to be notified every time we go live. It's every Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we go live every week. So be sure to keep a lookout on that. And we post a submission form on our Discord server first, so that will be posted by the end of tonight. And I know in Eastern Standard Time it's 9 p.m. so just a fair warning. And I will timestamp the video so everyone who weren't able to make it to the stream, you will be able to find your part, to be able to go to your part to see what was being said. But guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Be sure to hit the like button down below if you found anything helpful as well, and I will catch you guys in the next one next week, Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace out, guys. Have a good night.
This was a certified banger.
Woo!